Hey everyone, just wanted to quickly announce at the beginning here that tomorrow, Wednesday, September 25th, I'll be live streaming the new Battlefront 2 Felucia and Clone Commando update right here on the channel, beginning early at 10 AM Eastern Standard Time. I plan to stream as long as possible tomorrow to check out the new Felucia map and Commando reinforcements, so we would be honored if you would join us to talk all things Star Wars during the stream. If you can't make the live stream, I would just mention I'll be posting a lot of Felucia and Clone Commando gameplay over on my gaming channel, Star Wars Gaming Club, over the next few weeks. So a link to the gaming channel will be down in the description. Again, that's tomorrow, September 25th at 10 AM Eastern Standard Time. Thank you very much for your amazing support as always, everyone, and I hope that you enjoyed today's video. Even in the weeks and months after Order 66 and the Republic victory in the Clone War, a scarce few within the galaxy understood the true identity of Palpatine as a Sith Lord, with fewer still recognizing the fact that he manipulated the entire war as a way in which to bring about the successful completion of the Sith Grand Plan, leaving the galaxy ruled by the Sith. In fact, so closely guarded was this secret by Sidious and the Sith that one has to question if Darth Vader himself was ever able to fully comprehend the extent of Sidious's machinations. While it's not surprising to learn that Vader would be able to understand at least a portion of Sidious's manipulation of the war, given the fact that he led the Republic as its Supreme Chancellor and the Separatists were led by his Sith apprentice Dooku, what is interesting about this question is the fact that Legends has established that Vader understood a lot more than would be immediately apparent in Episode 3, putting 2 and 2 together as his fall to the dark side unfolded. In this video expose, we'll look at the lore that exists to explain when and how Vader understood Palpatine controlled both sides of the war to the extent he did, and explain what Vader's initial reaction was to this truth, taking into consideration that Anakin had been completely swept up in the manipulations himself by the Dark Lord of the Sith. In the novel Dark Lord, The Rise of Darth Vader, depicting events as they occurred only weeks after Order 66, there's an early section that expands upon Vader's jealousy regarding Sidious's position and the position he now found himself trapped in. From Vader's point of view, Sidious had won everything, and he alludes to his master's plan that had been, quote, flawlessly executed, a plan that won the Sith the war, the Republic, and the loyalty of Vader as Sidious's apprentice. But did Vader understand the grander aspects of the scheme perpetrated by his master? As we learn later within the same novel, he did, and it's actually quite shocking just how much Vader was able to put together and how quickly he did so. Less shocking is the Sith Lord's immediate reaction to understanding Sidious's manipulations. As Vader entered the Jedi Temple for the first time since he carried out his purge weeks previously, searching for Sith holocrons believed to be stored there, the Sith Lord recalled his actions and decisions the night of Order 66. Although most of Vader's memories as Anakin Skywalker were evaporating by the day, his slaughter at the temple was still as vivid as any he had, likely to never entirely leave him. But Vader was clear. His annihilation of the Order, including the decision to murder the Jedi younglings, hadn't been to serve Sidious or to further his allegiances to the dark side or the Sith Order. Vader noted he had his own motivations, but at the same time, as he remembered himself then, Vader's actions at the temple were meant to carry out a manipulation of Sidious, having his new master believe he was killing the Jedi to serve him. But even by this time, as he was severing all connections he had to the Jedi, Anakin was beginning to understand the extent of Sidious's machinations in carrying out the Clone War, and the effect that this had on him personally. As stated in Dark Lord, from Vader's perspective, when reflecting on the events of Order 66 only weeks later, in his arrogance, Sidious was unaware that Anakin had seen through him. Had the Sith Lord thought he would simply shrug off the fact that from the start, Sidious had been manipulating Anakin and the war. Clearly, with Vader's reference to, quote, from the start, Anakin immediately knew, once Palpatine revealed himself as the Dark Lord of the Sith, that the Clone War had been manipulated by him, including all of the hardships and personal manipulations experienced by Anakin. It had all been a lie, and Vader knew it with very little hesitation. Although there is a bit of a contradiction here with events seen in the Episode 3 film and novel, despite Sidious's references to the Jedi plot, Vader saw through it completely and realized the role the Sith had in directing the galaxy over the previous decades. Yes, the Jedi were up to no good, but not to the extent that Sidious was portraying it. And as Vader remembered weeks later, realizing this truth about Sidious was so abhorrent to him at the time that it was something he wouldn't merely shrug off, at least not initially of course. Speaking to Anakin's quote to Padme on Mustafar, referencing his overthrow of the Chancellor, Anakin meant it. Learning that Sidious manipulated the entire war caused him to conclude that the fate of the galaxy after his actions on Mustafar had to start with, quote, the assassination of Sidious. It's mentioned in numerous legend sources, and certainly throughout the Dark Lord novel, that if Anakin had emerged victorious on Mustafar, he would have likely attempted to execute Sidious, a fact that Sidious himself was aware of and prepared for. While this might easily be seen as Anakin being caught up in his path on the dark side and his arrogance in his own power, although that's definitely a part of it, I don't think we can dismiss Anakin's anger here in his realization that his new master manipulated the war from the beginning. He was manipulated into fighting a brutal war for 3 years, and while he would certainly have no objections to outcomes like the destruction of the Jedi Order, the weight of this realization without a doubt infuriated Anakin. But to be sure, Vader did note that Palpatine was behind the Clone War from the start as part of his plan to take control of the galaxy. He realized this by himself during the events of Episode 3, and this understanding angered Anakin to such an extent that he planned to assassinate Sidious. So there we have it, how Vader discovered and reacted to Palpatine manipulating the entire Clone War. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions. Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. Or perhaps follow us on Twitter at SW Reading Club for updates regarding the channel. Or support the channel through Patreon for access to exclusive rewards and discussions. If not for me... for Plan Bs.